I was listening to a podcast of Father Mike Schmidt's homilies, and he was talking about forgiveness, and he just cast the entire idea and act and practice in a new light. And I just wanted to come on and share it with you guys today, because you have to forgive. You, me, you, general, you have to forgive. There are people that are going to wrong us throughout our life, and especially in our relationships, especially when we let someone get close to us and know our heart and know our minds. Breakups happen, fallouts happen. There are wounds that are caused by people, whether we like it or not, and forgiveness is always entirely necessary. I have not been good at forgiving for a majority of my life, and I know I'm not alone in that struggle. So I was really listening to Father Mike Schmitz, and I was really trying to take it in and internalize everything that he was saying, because forgiveness affects your relationships. It affects how you carry out relationships. It affects how you hold relationships with other people. And in terms of the romantic sense, if you have a ton that you need to forgive with an ex, I'm not saying it's impossible to have a relationship with someone currently, but you will eventually have to revisit all that you need to forgive. It can be when you're dating, it could be when you're engaged, it could be when you're married. You will not escape those memories and wounds coming up eventually that you're going to need to acknowledge and forgive. So I thought that this was really prudent for everybody in the world. The one thing that really struck me, the one thing that he said that just made me stop in my tracks, is that he said it is something that we can do. Forgiveness is something that we can do for one reason and one reason only. And that is because it is how you have been loved. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Someone wrongs you, maybe multiple times, maybe once, but it hurts a lot, and you're still thinking about it and bringing it up, or the relationship you're in is bringing up a past hurt, or whenever you want a first date or get to the third date, this wound keeps coming up. This is a relevant way to look at those things, and I think it's a new way too, because I don't know about you, but I was always taught growing up that forgiveness was pretty close to forgetting. And I know there's that phrase of I can forgive, but I won't forget. But even that has kind of a sound of I'm still holding on to it. And I've always really struggled with that phrase as well. And so when I listened to what Father Mike Schmitz had to say, I was really moved. And the first step that he introduces in beginning to forgive another person is adding up the debt. What does that mean? It means sitting down and accounting everything wrong this person has done to you. All the wounds, all the hurt. It can be a really painful process. It can be a really emotional process. Take up a lot of mental space, a lot of emotional space. But this is what he says. He says that we need to go and we need to add up the debt. Why do we need to add up the debt? Because we know what we need to forgive. Because forgiveness is not forgetting. It is not just saying, it's fine, I'll move on, it's whatever. It's not pretending, it's not pushing it down, it's not filing it away. Forgiveness is biblically looking at a debt that someone owes you and choosing to not have them pay you that debt. He pulled from the Gospel of Matthew. I think it was specifically in chapter 18, and he talks a lot about it, and I would highly encourage you to go watch and listen to his homily. But Father Mike Schmitz, he says that when you take everything that someone's done to you, and you say, okay, this is your debt. Maybe you're not speaking directly to them, but you're saying, this is your debt. This is what you owe me. Forgiveness is saying, I'm not going to make you pay me back. And it's a release, and it's a freedom, and it's a step into incredible freedom from that hurt. It is not trying to talk it away or shove it to the side or forget about it until it inevitably comes up again. It is looking, just can be really difficult, but really honestly at a debt that someone owes us and saying, I'm not gonna make you pay me back. The goal is not to be angry. The goal is not to sit there and upset yourself or bring yourself further down. It is not to gather up wrath and just become really upset. The goal is to just practically count up what a person cost you, because it's the only way you're going to be accurately able to forgive that debt. And like I said at the beginning, this is something that we do for one reason and one reason only. It is because this is how we have been loved. We have incurred a debt with the Lord, And Jesus Christ came to pay that in full without asking us to pay it. He paid it for himself. And so we're not imitating something that we haven't ever seen, and we're not imitating something that we've never been touched by. All of us have been touched by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross. And it is for that reason alone, because we have been loved in that way, we ought to love other people in the exact same way. This matters to you, this matters to me. In our relationships, if you have an ex that has wounded you, if you have wounds from past relationships, and you feel them coming up in your current relationship, in your singlehood, in you're attempted to continue to date other people, that is something that you do not need to carry around. And it is something that we know how to let go of by the example of Jesus Christ. That's not to say it's easy, or to say that it won't take a ton of time, because it really could. It could take a lot of time to add up a debt that someone owes you, especially if it was years ago, especially if that debt is deep. But I think it's the only way that we can move forward as a whole healthy person, looking for another whole healthy person to love and to care for and to walk to heaven. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And in your spare time, please subscribe here. We love to see more of you, and I hope to see you guys soon.